everyone, welcome to an episode with RF Paving. We are going to speak about porcelain and natural stone today in all aspects. Exciting.
Porcelain versus stone. Here we go.
Right, which one are you taking? I think we know where we fit.
I think we do. My background history is within construction products, mainly aggregates, concrete, that type of thing, working for a quarry. I think you'll probably think I'm going to go down the stone route.
Yes, and I actually came into RF originally as for internal tile products, so this was before we did the external porcelain, so I am definitely going to take hold of the porcelain.
Go on then, which is best?
So, so it's hard to say because I do feel like there's a place for both. I couldn't say as a personal opinion. I will talk about porcelain, but I definitely see a place for both in the industry. But for porcelain...
Stone's best.
So with porcelain is very durable. I think with the porcelain, because it's a man-made product, there's a lot more control over it, let's say. So in terms of it being durable, it tends to be more durable than stone just because of how it's made. So with the porcelain, it's made from raw materials. There's different processes within it, but generally it is put in a kiln from a very high temperature, which makes it, well, not impenetrable, but very much so. So
non-porous.
It is a non-porous product, 99.99%. So anything that goes on top of it, such as liquids, any markings, it doesn't actually absorb into the body of the product. So generally you'll find that if you're a bit clumsy like me, and things can happen if you're a household full of pets and children and mess, basically, porcelain's brilliant because it doesn't actually absorb into the product. It sits on top, so there's cleaners that can remove it. So it tends to be a very low maintenance product for stone. One big thing that I love about porcelain is that internally, porcelain tends to be a better option, again, for the maintenance side. So if you are looking at connecting your home and garden inside to out, I love that you can continue with the same product. You can do that with stone, but it's a little bit different having the stone internally. You'd probably need to change the finish on it.
Yeah, well, you know, without you beating stone up, I'll defend it.
This is becoming a favourites game.
Yeah, as you quite rightly said, both products have their own space within certain aspects, depending on what the situation is. If you've got if you've got an old country cottage or whatever else like that, sometimes porcelain might not be the case. Sometimes it might be, because there's some great porcelains that have been made to look rustic and also imitate stone as such.
Oh, coming on my side now, are we?
Well, yeah, no, but notice I said imitating stone, so stone is the original, stone is there, and yeah, I would say that in certain aspects, stone is the more traditional look and feel. It is, like I say, it's been formed over multi-million years.
Yeah, which you can't really argue with that. That's beautiful.
But again, its advantages are sometimes its disadvantages. As in, if you're wanting a set tone to your patio, your space that you're trying to do, then probably natural stone isn't for you, because you've got different seams within that rock that it's quarried out. You've got different quarries within different areas, which will be totally different to different sources of wherever you're getting it from.
Over the years, like, quarries change. Like, some people, when you want to tie it in 2 years later, the colour does change. But even though I'm on this side, there's a huge beauty in that as well.
Yeah, of course there is. Literally within the same block that is either mined, quarried, blasted, whatever you're wanting to do, within that same block, it can be totally different. So, yeah.
Sorry, I'm being a child. I'm being a child.
But, yeah, honestly, I don't know. I'm going to point out some good points.
Give me a good point.
I'm going to say that you can have it manufactured, and using the word manufactured because it's in a loose sense, because it's a natural product, but you can have it produced to any thickness, any dimension. You're not stuck to what the factories choose to do and the sizes that they're doing. You can have steps made out of it, you can have copings, you can have various different things to any specific dimension.
Any spec, that is
and, and pretty much any colour or tone as well.
Yeah.
But bearing in mind that those tones and colours might vary within that. So I would say it gives you a little bit more variation of products that you can probably have out of it.
Yeah, and I love that mostly in like public spaces, natural stone is always the winner, and I think that having that varied depth, that is actually quite a big disadvantage. You can get 30mm porcelain, you can get different thicknesses, but there is such a beauty in, you know, like older stone, reclaimed stone, any depth when you're producing, you know, the Indian sandstone. There's definitely such a beauty in that, rather than it all being feeling very tiled.
Yeah, well, but again, that if that's the look that you're looking for it to be uniform and whatever else, then probably
there's
stone's
a place
not
for both.
I would sort of like.
I feel like switching sides.
Well, I am. Yeah, I think I would defend porcelain. Not that I'm saying it's bad in any way, but I just love natural stone. Is that I'll go and say back in the day when you were looking for the more contemporary look before external porcelain really became a thing, there was what they call sawn and honed stone, which was like try to create the tile look out of natural stone, which again,
but slip
problematic.
rating.
Yeah, problematic again.
Yeah,
you know, you're honing this surface and you get it, and it is literally like an ice rink when it's obviously wet or frosty or whatever. Again, you've got, with the natural stone, if you'll try to create that look, still now, as a supplier, absolute nightmare, because you got sawn edged with natural stone. One chip out of that edge, and then that's done. You know, because you can't sort of like fill it, you can't do anything that's sort of like going to try and get that back as such, which is where a lot of natural stone is supplied with what they call fettled edges or whatever, you know, natural edges as such, because if there is a little chip on that, then it's not noticeable. Whereas porcelain is a lot more uniform, and if that's the look that you're looking for, you can use.
Well, it's the same with porcelain though. If you chip it before it goes down, so when you're looking at the hand cut natural stone, if it's handled, it adds to the rustic feel of the stone. It's hidden basically. Whereas with the porcelain, if you chip that before it goes down, it's completely different, because the straight cut edges, it's way more noticeable, which I think that's another thing, is that the handling of porcelain and someone actually laying the porcelain definitely takes more patience. Not necessarily always skill, but definitely patience in how you take on a project. They are two completely different products to deal with.
Yeah, and that's it. They are. We're trying to compare two totally different products being used for the same purpose as such.
They've both got a place, haven't
exactly,
they?
and that's the thing. So I think ultimately, I think the answer is what's best. Both of them in certain situations.
They've both got a place. Definitely for different purposes. It just completely depends. One thing I want to add with the porcelain is that one thing I really like about the porcelain, especially if you're doing internal and external, is that the slip ratings can vary completely. So you can get different slip ratings dependent on whether you're using it on a bathroom, whether you're using it outside, whether you're using it on a splashback. Porcelain can be made in a lot of different ways and manipulated to suit what it needs to suit, whereas with the stone, it is the surface that it is produced with is generally the surface that you want to keep, and that can change over time because it is a porous product, so it can change. It can get algae to grow in it. So for me with stone, as long as you're aware that it takes a little bit more maintenance, then that is fine. I think it's just being knowledgeable about the differences between the two when you're making your decision of what is best for you.
I'll be the first to say that, natural stone is ultimately a porous product. You've got different stones within, obviously, the range that you can get. Some are less porous than others, but ultimately, yes, most stone is laid outside. Yes, you do have it indoors. Indoors, it will mark no matter how much you do seal it.
It's the lucky one. It's just exactly. It is definitely the lucky one. It's what you're trying to achieve through it. So,
but yeah, I would say that outdoors, yeah, you've got different things to consider. What you actually want from your area that you're doing, and if it's the look, whether it is the durable. The durable product that you're thinking of, or whatever, different things to consider of different things with both products, I'd say.
Definitely. Let's just give a little summary of the advantages of both.
Yeah.
So I'll start with porcelain. The advantages of porcelain is it's a non-porous product, which makes it extremely durable and extremely low maintenance. Mm-hmm. I would say the colour consistency is an advantage of the porcelain. However, there is different batches, so that is something to look out for. I think the amount of different slip ratings and textures that you can get with porcelain you can use that to suit different. Well, you manipulate it to suit different designs in different areas to make it, fit for purpose for what it needs to be.
I think one big thing, and the great thing about porcelain being used for paving, you're literally laying an exterior tile, so you can use tile space. You can have regular joints.
Yeah, I'm all about that. I love clean cut lines, and for me, it's definitely. I think it's the type of look that I like.
Yeah.
However, that's obvious for me. It's what suits my house currently. Whereas if I was to get a more period property, I definitely wouldn't just be porcelain. So that's why I definitely think there's a place for both.
Yeah.
The stone.
Stone, I would say the
Sorry,
actual...
we're very northern. Stone.
Don't, honestly. But yes, is there another word rather than stone?
You said no, we need to, yeah.
Anyway, I think that the fact that you can get the variation of different natural products as such, so you've got your granites, you've got your limestone, you've got your sandstones, you've got all sorts,
don't they?
all sorts of different things from different areas of the UK, in particular, the world, Europe, everywhere. It's you've got various different things that you can do, whether you want in the grey granites or whether you want in a lighter sandstone. There's always something there for you, and I know that you can get that within porcelain, but I think the fact that it is a bit more of a traditional product, and you can use the variations of size, thickness, everything else like that, creating that more traditional look, which can be, do you know what, you can use both products in certain places. The
one thing that I love about natural stone is that every piece, no matter whether it's a cobble, if it's a paver, if it's wall cladding, however it is, manipulated for use, it all has its own story.
It does, yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, like I say, ultimately we've probably not answered any questions.
But we've talked around both of it, because that is the truth of it, is it's not one shoe fits all. It completely depends on your project, your taste, your lifestyle. If you're in your garden all the time and you've got the time to be able to focus on it, absolutely natural stone. If you're never going in that garden and you need it to be as low maintenance as possible, then porcelain. So there's a lot of moving parts, but yeah. It's personal decision, isn't it?
It is, and stone's the best.
Yeah.
Common
right.
theme there.
So quick fire. Let's go for it.
I'll tell you what, before we do the quick fire...
You just answered the first quick fire.
Have I? All right, I'm sorry. All right, now I was going to say, what about any misconceptions that people have about each product? What would you say, rather than doing a little quick fire?
I think porcelain has got a definite misconception because of where it's come from. I think you'll know this better than me, I'm joking. 15 years ago... When people when people said about the porcelain, it was slippy bathroom tiles.
Yeah.
It's like one type. When porcelain first came into the market as an external product, there was such like porcelain outside, and that's changed a lot, I guess, over the past 5 or 10 years. But it's definitely still that misconception of porcelain is an internal product that is slippy. That couldn't be further from the truth. If you source that product correctly, it has the right slip ratings on it, porcelain will always be, over a period of time, less slippy than natural stone.
I would say a misconception that people generally do about porcelain is that, we sometimes use it, it's low maintenance. It is low maintenance. That doesn't mean that it's no maintenance,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Oh, is that? Yes, indeed. So, I think that's a bit of a misconception about porcelain. Misconception about stone. I should have probably thought of this before I asked you that question.
Well, I'm being negative here, and I feel like I'm harping on the porcelain drum, but I do think there's a place for both. But I think a misconception with stone is that it isn't slippy. One thing to be really aware of with stone is, because it is a porous product, algae can grow on it, it weathers in, which there's a beauty in that. But if you are, not as steady on your feet, or you need the product to stay of a slip resistance, you need to be very aware that you do need to maintain it, because over time, if it's not maintained, it can become quite lethal.
And I suppose a misconception, I would say, is that, yes, it can be used in every garden no matter what, and it be there, but again, if it's the placement of it, if it's under trees, you are going to get, it is going to go green.
Yeah, no matter what based on your situation, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. So, go on, I'll let you go with
quick fire
before.
So, well, porcelain or natural stone, Andy?
Would it be too beige to say both? I suppose it wouldn't.
No, I feel exactly the same. I do. I think if I said either of them, I'd be doing a misjustice, because I think there's such a place for both of them on the market. You can't just pick one. So we'll be a bit vanilla there.
Yeah.
Both choosing to be vanilla. Best for low maintenance, porcelain.
Porcelain.
Yeah.
I agree.
The biggest downside of porcelain?
I don't suppose... I would say...
I'd just straight up go with it. It's a man-made product.
Yeah,
and I think you can't replace the beauty of a natural stone.
That I was going to say, Anna,
that.
It's not really a downside of porcelain, because it brings so much more benefits to it.
It's just the facts,
and
it's what people prefer and what suits.
And people will say, well, but it's not natural.
Yeah, and that is fine. Whereas some people are not bothered at all. It's just completely dependent.
Yeah.
Agreed with that. Which is the safest?
Oh, well, again, probably a misconception. Probably, porcelain. If you're considering slip resistance, it has a slip resistance actually put on the surface of it,
and it also can't change all weather because it is a non-porous product.
That's right.
And so that's important.
Yeah, it is indeed. But
if you buy from the right places that has a correct slip rating on the R11 for porcelain is the minimum that it needs to be for outside. Don't entertain a product outside that isn't R11.
No, indeed. But I think just point out anything that's put outside, no matter it's porcelain, whatever, will become slippy in frost or whatever else like that. So that's just a thing. Just to point out that safety. We're not saying it's 100%.
It's another thing that they'll say, like with the porcelain, so it has a frost resistance, but it doesn't mean that it's frost resistant.
Right. It means like your garden pots that you sometimes have in there, which are ceramic, that can get moisture in there, which then sort of like crack them,
expands and cracks.
That's the thing. That's what it's saying. Yeah, well said. Actually, it's not resistant to frost. Doesn't mean it doesn't get frosty.
But
it
will be an ice rink in winter.
Yeah, it cannot
if it's dropping
impregnate into it and make it pop. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and that opens a whole new thing, because if you have porcelain that is not laid correctly, which is why it's important to have your information beforehand, that can cause pooling on top of the porcelain if the joints aren't done properly. If that then pulls on top, then you are going to have big slip problems. It's not just actually the product that you put on top. This is why the whole process is so much more than what meets the eye.
Yeah, that final product on the top is the least of what's happening. Everything underneath is the most important thing.
Definitely. Non-negotiable on install of both porcelain and stone.
Well, I don't know, you might say this is a little bit belt and braces for natural stone, but I think that you should prime every piece of natural stone with some sort of priming agent to help it key to the sub base.
I agree. I think I understand when people say that, you know, the whole priming aspect's probably only come in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And historically, look at everything that's happened.
Yeah.
But if there's something that makes it belt and braces, and the priming slurry is such a minimal cost on your project, I just think, why not? Like, make it as belt and braces as possible.
Absolutely, and it really is a must for porcelain.
Yeah,
it's not negotiable whatsoever for porcelain.
Yeah,
because it will not key to the
absolutely mortar. Agree. Yeah, agree.
Indeed. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
if you've got any thoughts on what you like, porcelain or natural stone, then please let us know.
Follow us. Just comment. If you think we're talking absolute rubbish, then please do let us know. We'll be interested in your thoughts.
And it's not just natural stone or porcelain. There's loads of different products on the market. Some which are man-made, some which are natural. So we will keep the conversation going, but hopefully it's giving you a bit of an insight into both of them. And, thoughts.
Thoughts, please.
Yeah. Thank you.